Going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of S Dogs MMA Talk, and today I got three young, handsome gentlemen helping me break down this past weekend for you folks. We're gonna get into the PFL, Francis Ngannou. Should the PFL sell? Should they just keep up with their market? I guarantee you, it did less than 50,000 pay-per-view buys. But also, we're just mainly here for Francis Ngannou and his amazing performance, and we're also gonna break down UFC 99 this past weekend, UFC Vegas 99. But before we get into all that, let me get to the boys. To the right of me, as always, I got the Scottish Soldier, McDane, the Rambling Dad podcast. To the corner of me, I got my boy Jax in Dallas, Texas, making the walk. Also, huge shout out to Jax for getting the boy Josh Emmett on today. Huge podcast. My man had Kevin Iole on last week. My man's got Josh Emmett today. This man's on a fucking roll right now. Get him in ESPN. And then to the guy below me, making a huge come up. Y'all are sleeping on this man. One of the best edits in the game. Some of the best shit I've ever seen on live. Shout out the boy Crossover MMA. How are we doing, brother? Let me start off with you.
Man, I'm doing good. It was a good weekend, but we got some bigger and better things to look forward to this upcoming weekend. So it's definitely all good.
Bro, it was a great weekend. I'm pretty sure you boys got to catch the whole pay-per-view card for PFL. I unfortunately only got to catch the co-main and the main. Your boy was in some medieval times. I was watching knights fight with axes, people getting shot off with a fucking cannon off horses. Your boy was living in the fucking 1500s 2 days ago. But we're back, and we got technology, and thank God we got Wi-Fi and social media to connect with the boys. McDane, give me your thoughts over PFL this weekend, bro. But mainly the main event. But give me your thoughts kind of over the whole card, bro.
The whole card was pretty decent. I was like skipping between UFC and PFL through the entire night, just going back and forth. And I also had it on split screen for a little bit as well. But overall, decent event, man. Yeah, I mean, like I always said in the build up to it, they put a little bit more money into the market in this time. So I think it got pushed out to more people. Obviously, they got that Saudi money behind them. So they had a lot more going into it, especially for the Battle of the Giants. Saw some great fights, man. Yeah, I mean, Cyborg getting her 5th promotion title as well. And then obviously moving on to that main event where Francis Ngannou, mythical fighter, came back out once more and took him down and done what he had to do. Like, there's no way you're going to stand there with Renan Ferreira and actually take that man's shots. But Johnny Eblen and Fabian Edwards, not the fight we wanted to see, but Eblen did what he had to do to get it done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the clip of Conor McGregor calling it out as well. That's pretty funny. But overall, man, like, and then we had McKee and Hughes, man, that was a scrap too. So yeah, they had some decent fights on the card.
Yeah, shout out Cyborg for winning another belt and another promotion, bro. She just, wherever she goes, bro, she always ends up getting back to the top. People always think about the Nunes send-off in UFC, but bro, before Amanda Nunes, Cyborg was the real boogie woman. Nobody wanted that smoke with Cyborg, bro. Jax, what were your thoughts over the card, bro?
I mean, I thought the card was decent. It was definitely top heavy, but I mean, there were some really good fights in there. I don't know if y'all are the same way. Y'all probably are. Like, when you watch these fights and these people come up, you're like, I wonder how good this person would do in the UFC. Like, it happens every fight, every person I see. And I mean, I saw some people in there that I'm just like, man, if they made it to the UFC, they do pretty well. One fight that Jordan didn't mention that I thought was it showcased how good this person is was the I think it was Rafion Stotts fight where he submitted Breno. Like, I thought that was a really good showing for him, and that's a person that I really wish the UFC had. I think that he would do really well. And then Paul Hughes, like you mentioned, that scrap with AJ McKee was really a really good fight. Really unsung. It's gonna go under the radar. Nobody's gonna know anything about that fight in like a week. But it was a really good fight, though.
Yeah, bro. That's like I said at the beginning. I was talking a little shit about the PFL. Like I said, I didn't see the whole card, but I did see highlights of the Paul fight, the Johnny Eblen slamming Fabian on his head, like Bilal did to his brother. Not trying to throw shots there. It just is what it is. But like you said, Stotts on the card's a dog. People don't know about Stotts unless you saw him against Pat Sabatini and kind of that build, not Pat Sabatini. You know I'm talking about, that Sabatini guy, that Irish gangster or whatever.
Yeah. I can't remember his first name.
And Bellator, yeah, they were in Bellator. Mm-hmm. So that's when I first found out of him, and he was just a dog wrestler. But my man's putting his hands together now, and he's getting pretty crisp. Crossover, my man at the bottom, my fellow Houstonian. Give me your thoughts, bro.
Pretty much the same with everybody else. The Paul Hughes fight was definitely a very good fight. And I like the dynamic it sets up now, because I know he was saying he wants Conor McGregor in his corner when he fights Usman Nurmagomedov. So maybe we can get some Conor Habib crossover. and if we're being honest, that would be phenomenal for the PFL. That would bring a lot more eyeballs to it and would do them a world of service. Obviously, Francis Ngannou, I think everybody wanted Francis Ngannou to do well, and just everything he's been through this year, which, losing his son and then the knockout. Like, I think everybody that wasn't personally tied to Hanat wanted Ngannou to do well. So we all felt good about Francis Ngannou. And all in all, I think it was a solid event. And I actually enjoyed the Cyborg, at least Larissa Pacheco fight. Cyborg faced some adversity, weathered the storm, and still found a way to get the win.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, I'm right there with you, bro, the whole way on that. Also, two things before we really get into the Francis Ngannou fight. Did y'all see what Eric Nixon said about what Fiera did to really wake up Francis?
No, I didn't see that. What did he do?
He just came out with it this morning on MMA Fighting. So Nixon was saying up until Friday, so like till they did the weigh-ins when they went head to head, where Fiera kind of pushed up on him. He said Francis was like kind of not really wanting to do this, kind of like having a lot of self-doubt. And he said, honestly, if Fiera doesn't do that, good chance Francis probably doesn't show up that night. He said him doing that, as soon as they got to the back, Francis told Eric, I'm going to finish this motherfucker in the first round tomorrow. He's never going to disrespect me like that again. Because when Francis took it as disrespect when he put in a headbutt, but he took it very disrespectful because when Fiera flexed next to Francis,
he put himself in front of him. I saw that,
and he covered the Kobe tattoo. So, but he's not thinking that. Fiera's just like, I'm the big dog. Francis took that as like, oh, he's covering my son's name so he can. Oh, okay. So Francis went in there like it's to the death on some Jairzinho Rosenstruck mode. So I couldn't believe that, bro. Because when I watched it as soon as we were going home. I caught the last round of the Cyborg fight, and then I tuned in to the Ngannou fight, and oh my God, bro. Oh my God. I did not. Francis learning how to wrestle is Thanos with the fucking rubies. That motherfucker is unstoppable now, bro. McDane, give me your thoughts on his performance, bro, and just kind of what you hear after that statement now, after Eric Nixon.
I literally posted it on Twitter days before saying, will we see the mythical fighter Ngannou again? Like, this was the exact, well, when you look at Renan Ferreira's finishes, every one of them, first or second round, has been that looping overhand right that he throws, and he threw it. He was waiting, he was winding it up at the start of the first round. He tried to throw it and connect, missing it. A lovely little entrance by Ngannou as well, you know what I mean, to take him down. Got him down to the ground, and that was it. Like, I knew days before that any path that was going to be a victory for Ngannou was going to be taking him down and either punishing him from there or just doing what he'd done, where he just laid into him. And you guys think it was too many shots? Like, it was a lot of shots to be taken where it could have been called. Like, he seemed like he was out, got woken up, and then was out again. Like, he just got absolutely battered, man. So hats off to Ngannou. Like I say, went in there, didn't fight him at his own game, didn't stay in the feet for too long, because he knew, like, if I'm going to get put out by AJ, if I get connected by one of those looping overhands, man, it's going to be good night as well.
Yeah, and like Crossover was saying at the bottom, to your point about, fuck, I just blanked out. To your point about when you were saying about how Francis came out and, fuck, what did I just blank out for? I had it when McDane was rambling. I fucking had it 6 seconds in, and then I was like, all right, don't forget to say that. Hey,
start rambling again.
That's why you don't do sparring and then come do a podcast. Jax.
Oh yeah, blame the sparring.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a way out of this. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm about to turn over to Jax. Jax, go ahead so I can shut the fuck up and just give me your thoughts on the card, bro, and Francis's performance.
I mean, Jordan, like, he nailed it as far as like the way that he came out. And he you know, what's interesting is like when you see people who, and I'm thinking of Conor McGregor, somebody who's ventured into boxing and then they come back and their style is like completely different. It almost felt like Francis came back the way that he left. When he left, he was wrestling. When he came back wrestling. And I don't know if it was because of the knockout and it just reminded him, hey, man, you're a mixed martial artist. You got to do all these things. I feel like if we would have gotten Francis a few years back, he may have just tried to throw hands with him. And, who knows? That's a, you never know how that's going to go with both of them having that kind of power. But the fact that he remembered that he's a mixed martial artist, took him down, beat his face in, showed like that's what he does. That's what he's good at. And did I think it was too many shots? No. I mean, I do think that he was out, but it was just a bad angle for the ref to kind of see. And he probably did want to give him at least a shot to recover. But I mean, those heavyweights, man. I mean, the first ground and pound punch, he could have been out. So, but credit to him. Now, I don't know what he's going to do after this. I think that was the big fight in the PFL. You're going to have to venture outside, glory kickboxing type of thing to get somebody. But, I mean, for him, it was a good night. It was a good remembrance. I mean, I'm happy for him. And I'm happy for Renan Fajeda too, because he got paid.
Oh, he got paid, bro.
$2 million to get knocked out ain't too bad, is it?
Bro.
You know what I mean?
I'll take it.
Bro, and if you saw the way
I don't know if I can sign up for that though.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. My last fight was for free, so right now I think I'd fight Francis Ngannou for $2 million. Crossover. Let me get to you, bro. Instead of just kind of recapping on the thoughts the boys just said, do you think Fajeda is a top 15 heavyweight in the UFC? And just kind of give me your thoughts on Ngannou just laying it on him, man, and putting a hematoma on him within 2 minutes.
So top 15 heavyweight in UFC, I think yes, because first of all, the division is so shallow.
Good point.
I think if you pretty much have a pulse or can do anything, you can pretty much get in the top 15 at heavyweight in the UFC. But with that being said, though, I actually think the boxing and the Stipe fights did a world of good for Francis. I think the boxing, what he really learned is that he saw that when he fought Fury, that Fury kind of was like, wasn't really taking it serious, and it allowed Ngannou to be in the fight. And then he saw when a guy that is a boxer and that's all they do, and they take him serious in the Anthony Joshua fight, and he goes about it and like you don't give an inch, and you just literally want to just fight to your advantages. And I think he took those lessons and brought it into this fight and was like, yeah, I can stand up with Renan Fajeda, but I know I have this advantage here, and I'm just going to use that and just fight to my strengths.
That's a really great point, bro. Honestly, I think you're 100% spot on with that. All that extra training and the extra different little combats that he's been into. And honestly, bro, the moments he's been in, like you said, fighting Joshua and Fury, bro, who's Fajera's biggest fight? Ryan Bader? And who was in the crowd? Maybe 10,000 people. I'm probably just way overselling that. And speaking of overselling, boys, do y'all even think this whole event did over or under 100,000 pay-per-view buys?
Under
100,000. What about you?
Under for sure.
Under
for sure.
Under probably. I'm actually just Googling it right now.
Because here's what I've been thinking, bro. They got to get rid of the tournament style. You got to make it as close as you can to one championship. People have been talking about PFLs, the Pepsi or the B League of MMA. Fuck that. One championship. The production value is so much better. The fights are better. They have a way deeper roster. Because like we're saying, bro, Francis Ngannou just came over here, dominated, won the title, and we literally don't know who he fights next. Did you find those numbers, McDane?
No, I'm just kind of, but it definitely.
I mean, it's all good, bro. Yeah, they probably don't even want to even show them fucking numbers because it's probably under 50,000 buys, boys.
They shouldn't show those. They shouldn't show them. But yeah, I do have one question for y'all though.
Go ahead.
When you were talking about Renan Fajeda, being in the top 15 in the UFC, I do think that he would be. To Crossover's point, like it's a shallow division. But do you think, and this is just a mythical matchup, do you think that Renan Fajeda against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who do you think will win that fight?
Damn, I think I think Fajeda wins, but I think it's a kickboxing fight, and it probably goes 3 rounds unless he turns up and catches Rosenstruck one of those big-ass overhand rights. But what would you think, Crossover?
I would lean Fajeda as well in that, just because the size and the reach advantage. And I mean, Rosenstrike's not going to take him down to ground and pound. Like, that fight's just going to be on the feet. And then if the off chance, let's say like Rosenstrike throws something and like he slips and falls, and now Fajeda's on top of him, now he can get finished. You know what I mean? So I think for sure I would definitely take Fajeda in that fight, because at the end of the day, we got to remember, like, Ngannou knocked out Rosenstrike in like 12 seconds. So.
Yeah. Homer Simpsoned him. Just came out there, said, "You owe me money, and I'm here to collect." That's literally all that was. McDane, who would you pick, bro?
Biggie boy.
No, you motherfucker. This is why I need more Texans on the pod. These boys from across the pond are off that shit over there. They don't got enough vitamins.
You literally just said it yourself. Who is he fought other than Bader and Ngannou? Who has Rosenstrike fought? Think of the level. Think about the difference in the training. Think about like the IQ going into that fight. Yeah, Ngannou knocked his ass out in 20 seconds. Ngannou just knocked his ass out in a minute and something. You know what I mean? Like, you can't MMA math that this man's got reach. Look at Gaziev. Everybody thought that he was going to bully Rosenstrike too, and what happened there? Like, don't underestimate this man. Yeah, it would be kickboxing. I think he would probably actually have a decent shot at it in the clinch. Probably wouldn't be any takedowns though. You're right. But at the same time, I think he can get on the inside and he can do the damage and do what he needs to do. And I think he's smart enough to defend himself from that overhand right. Because other than that, what's Ferreira we got? Biggie boy, boys. Biggie boy.
Fucking big ass 6'8".
Fuck Tejas.
Yeah, this is why Braveheart didn't make it. So anyway, I'm gonna be real with y'all though here. Let's, like, for real moment. I'm just kind of throwing this out. This is off the dome. Let's for real have a moment. Who does Francis Ngannou fight next for real?
Bro.
For real. Like, I'm trying to think. We've been talking for 17 minutes and I can't even think of a legit opponent that even makes sense or something he would like real life really do.
Rico Verhoeven.
What the fuck, Jack?
Yeah, well, that's been talked about. It's been talked about. But
really,
other than that, like, who is he going to go back for another boxing fight? Because there isn't anybody else in the PFL that's
Deontay Wilder.
I was going to say Deontay Wilder.
Deontay Wilder. He's on that ayahuasca trip. He's not going to want to come out throwing hard hands with Francis. Francis can probably go in there and walk him down, get his confidence back up, and then fucking maybe even rematch Joshua. Or, bro, really, Francis could be done fighting, bro. I mean, he could be done. He could fight Deontay Wilder or maybe one more fight. I don't think he does another MMA fight. There's just no one MMA-wise that makes sense for him right now. I like the Rico fight. I was saying, are you serious? Because I was like, I don't think they'd make that happen. But that would be fun as fuck to watch.
Yeah. I'm curious what discipline they would do it in, because if they do it in kickboxing, that would not be pretty.
No, they'd have to do it like Roltang and Demetrius or something. Or maybe just Rico comes over here and accepts MMA, because I would say Francis ain't going to take you down, but damn, Francis is Bo Nichols now, baby. Yeah. Francis is a fucking dog now in wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, dog. He's had 2 entries and he managed to hold down Ngannou, who's got no fucking takedown or like defense or any grappling game to him. Not hater, bro. Just talking facts. You know what I mean? Like, look at what John Jones did to Ngannou, which I had no answer for it. That's exactly what Ngannou went and done to him. Then you look at Ngannou now, took down somebody else that's got no ground game and just laid him out. Is that enough to say that this new wrestling style Ngannou is an absolute unit? No. Like, go and put him in there against an Almeida and see how his wrestling works out. Let's put him in some grappling matches, see how his wrestling works out. Then we'll know how good his wrestling is.
Francis Ngannou, Gordon Ryan. You heard it here first, folks. Francis Ngannou, Gordon Ryan. We're doing grappling.
Jordan, I'll give you a little pushback on this. In the heavyweight division, there's literally probably 3 guys probably 4 that can wrestle grapple. So you got Almeida, Aspinall, Blades, and Sergey Spivak. Outside of those guys, Ngannou's and obviously John Jones. But outside of those guys, he's a better grappler than everybody. And then when you throw into his strength, he's definitely the strongest guy in the heavyweight division for sure.
Well, hold up. This one just hit home. Are you saying Ngannou's a better wrestler than? Oh, you're saying outside of those guys, he's already better.
Yes, outside of those
sorry.
Yeah.
I was about like, what? Hang on, wait a minute.
No.
Right, so we're talking about him being a great wrestler. So we're putting him into that echelon of great wrestlers. So if he's in there with those guys, you've literally just made the point of he ain't better than those. So is his wrestling mid-tier like the rest of the motherfuckers in the heavyweight division, or is he a good? No, he ain't a good wrestler. Like, we haven't seen enough of him of being a good wrestler. Like, understand the pushback, understand the names that you've dropped and the people that you put forward there, and I get what you're saying, and it makes sense. But you put him in there against those guys, and his wrestling ain't gonna hold up.
I mean, I would say he's got good enough wrestling. Like, his wrestling is good enough to get by in certain instances because of his other attributes. That's kind of where he lands. He's not a better wrestler than them per se, but when it comes to the fact that he's got, fight ending power that some of them may not have, like Almeida is not going to hit you and put you out like that if you're a heavyweight. Not like that. That's why he wrestled like that. But Francis got both. And it's not in the sense of he's got, his wrestling is not a, but he's got a C, and that C with that A plus, it's a nice average.
plus to McDaniel's point, I hate to agree with this dude, but to his point, maybe I'm just a little taken back over the fact that he's wrestling so well, and I just don't expect it. So when he does, I'm like, oh, he's a motherfucking wrestler now. And it's like, hold up, blood. Maybe he just...
Bro, I called him mythical fighter Ngannou. Yeah, I mean, because of how he's been wrestling. Like, I'm not hating, but I'm just saying.
I'm with you.
Up there with the upper echelon of that division of wrestlers, like, he ain't touching them, bro. Like you say, he's got that C in wrestling, he can get by, and then it's the other attributes, which is the things that make him a killer. So,
who nobody wants to see is Derek Lewis. Let's just go ahead and throw that in there. So, anyways, before we move on, boys.
Bro, Derek Lewis's stand-up is unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, if you want to wrestle with that man, you ain't keeping him down. He's just going to stand up. He doesn't even need technique. He just uses brute force.
Bro, that dude is a literal house. But Francis, bro, did y'all see Francis Saturday? I mean, I don't know if he's on the Mexican supplements. I don't know if they drug test in Riyadh, but god damn, my man looked like a fucking unit Saturday.
I thought Ferreira was going to look like hugely bigger than him, but he didn't really. Even when they were squaring off and stuff, I was like, he doesn't actually look that much taller or bigger than him.
Yeah, bro. My man's lived in literal fucking houses. Before we move on from Francis Ngannou, boys, and we get on to the UFC talk, because we've been on this now for about 20 minutes, give me y'all's final thoughts. I'm going to start with crossover, but give me your final thoughts, bro, just on Francis, what you see next for him, bro, after we all just said what we've been saying, and just everything he's been going through, and just take it from me so I can stop talking.
So, first off, like I said, man, I couldn't be happier for him. I don't think there's any more fights for him in the PFL. I think if he fights again, it's going to be boxing, because the money's going to be there, and he'll have some, he can find an opponent that people will actually recognize and want to see him in there with. But going forward, I wish Francis Ngannou nothing but the best and all the success in the world.
Jax?
I have to agree. Like, either it's that kickboxing weirdness, with Rico, or it's going to be boxing. I don't personally want to see him against Deontay Wilder. I think Deontay Wilder is washed. But I mean, if they want to make some money, there's a bag there. He can possibly rematch Tyson Fury. They can make that make sense. Considering he knocked him down at once, it's a moral victory. They could match him up against somebody else that doesn't necessarily make sense, but he can grab one more bag before he gets out if he wants to do that. But like, since he's not in the UFC, there's no prospect of him going back to the UFC. John Jones' fight is gone. There's no way he's ever going to fight Tom Aspinall. Like, there's really not that much out there for him. And he's getting a little bit older. Like, and he got paid. He got paid already. So, what difference does it make?
Yeah, bro. I'm right there with you. McDane?
Same. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously really happy for him getting that, especially after everything that he went through, losing his son and then coming back. And just to reiterate what you're saying there as well, Jax, about he's never coming back to the UFC, but there's that relationship with Dana even look like now? Would he even bring him back? Like, probably not. Yeah, you know I mean, and hats off to him. He left. He stuck to his guns. He got paid. He's going to be an ambassador for PFL Africa. Like, he got his opponent a fat amount of money as well. Like, he's done everything that he wanted to do, and he's like achieved it all. How much? I think the question is not what we want, but what does Francis want? So I can't remember how many fights were on his contract. I knew they were doing the 2 boxing fights, and then he had to have this MMA fight. I'm not sure how many MMA fights would have been in his contract, so that'll come down to it too. If he wants to stop doing the MMA and just pursue a few more boxing fights and just go down that route, he might just do that. But at the same time, it all boils down to what does Francis want now? He's got his money. He's obviously gone through some stuff with his family. Does he want to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the time with the rest of his family that he's got? Or does he want to continue going down some kind of combat sports related?
Not going to lie, brother. You've pretty much summed it up the best I could even say. I'm just going to pretty much piggyback off that. That's a great way to explain it all, bro. Shout out Francis Ngannou, man. Nothing but blessings going forward. He is the absolute man. Like you said, completely forgot about that he's going to be now the ambassador of Africa over there. All the extra incentives that he got from PFL that he wouldn't have got from the UFC. And just now he's made his own money his own way. Can't be any more happy for the guy. Shout out Francis Ngannou. He's the absolute man, folks. Now, enough of PFL talk. Let's get into a full card. A full card worth watching. And this card probably does more pay-per-view buys than what the PFL just put on. So let's go ahead and get straight into this, boys, because your boy came back from the 1900s when this was on. And, if you could go ahead and pull that first fight up for me, McDane. I'm going to start off with crossover, actually, too, bro, for the first fight of the night and just kind of get your thoughts on it, bro, and just who you had before this fight started with Austin Lane and Despain. You're muted, bro. Hey, we'll edit it out. We'll edit that shit out, or we might leave it in.
All good. So going into it, I went with Robelis Despain in this because going in, like Austin Lane, I don't think he had any takedowns going into this fight, even though everyone knew that Robelis Despain, if you get him on the ground, he's completely stuck there. But I honestly just thought that Despain would eventually like just clip the chin on the feet at some point, but Austin Lane fought smart, and shout out to him. He got the win.
Jax?
I was in the same camp, man. I thought that this was a chance for Despain to kind of right the ship, after that last fight. I mean, and then Austin Lane, like, he ain't done nothing good since he was on the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I wasn't expecting anything big from him. But, I mean, like he said, he fought smart. And maybe he's learning some stuff, and he could parlay this into actually like leaning into his physical gifts, because dude has all the physical gifts to be very good at this. He just got to put it all together.
Yeah, bro, that's a great point, dog. McDane?
I picked Robelis as well, man. Like, I think I even said on the prediction show as well, I said, are we actually going to see Austin Lane come out and just do what we saw Waldo Cortez Acosta do to him as well, though, just take him down and just put him on his back. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about turtles in trees. This man was a turtle on his back. This dude just could not get up. You know what I mean? Like, he was stuck there. And again, I put this on Twitter as well. It was like, he's literally a one-trick pony, or he's a bag of shit. Like, he's got long arms and a heavy hand, and that's it. Like, that's it. And it's shown now in the last 2 fights. So I don't see him in the UFC for much longer. Everybody can now see the path of victory against this man. And he's literally just going to get put on his ass and just wrestle fucked for 3 rounds to losing and then getting cut.
Yeah, bro. A lot of these kickboxers thinking they see Pereira come over here and all these new guys coming over here doing some flashy shit. But, bro, if you have no sprawl game or you can't get the fuck up at all in 3 rounds against a guy like Austin Lane, and we're talking about a guy that's not a wrestler, bro, I was 100% with crossover and Jax down there when they were saying it was going to be Despain, just picking them off, easy touching them up. I was like, this is probably just going to be a great way to start the card. This dude's going to piece Austin Lane up. We're going to get a nasty knockout to start the night. And we got a 3-round. I don't want to say snooze fest, bro, because I couldn't imagine how hard it must have been to hold that big ass dude down like Austin Lane did, bro. So
Well,
you kind of got to give him respect.
Not to interrupt you, but to just jump in there
No,
as
go
well.
ahead.
You look at Austin Lane's last 2 fights; he's been finished in the first or
Yes.
second round, and that was also the reasoning why I was like, I reckon Despin can actually crack him here, and we'll probably see him get KO'd in the first round, nice and early again. That was where I was going with that one. But like I said, I did have that. Will we see the Wilder Costa fight again? But I went with the man to KO him, and like you just said there, if you can't finish Austin Lane, then what's going on, brother?
Any other thoughts on that, boys?
No, that's exactly what I was thinking.
It was crazy, bro. It was crazy, bro. I honestly didn't expect it to start the way it did. But also, I didn't expect this fight to go the way it did as well. I had Elise winning this fight. I know this fight didn't get a lot of traction, and you know your boy is not the biggest fan of women's MMA. But I was actually pretty excited for this fight, bro. It definitely delivered with the finish, but oh no, wait, wasn't the finish. It was a decision. I am fucking up.
It was decision.
Fucking up, boys. But McDane, give me your thoughts on this, bro, and who'd you have winning this?
I picked Martinez going into this one. I just seen her outstriking Adeline, however you say her name. You called it Alice there, isn't it? Alice. Or is that just a pronunciation difference from the other side of the world?
I'll keep it real honest with you. We're a little faded over here. I'm fucking up. I'm fucking up words and I'm fucking up mentally. I'll keep it honest with you. I'll break the fourth wall. I'll keep this in.
But yeah, just back to it. Like this fight went exactly how I thought it was going to go. I knew it was going to be a decision fight, and I just thought it would just be Martinez just picking away towards that decision.
Yeah, Jax.
Yeah, man. On these fights, you always bet the over on the rounds, man, because you never really know how it's gonna go. But you know it's not gonna get finished. But I had Martinez. I thought Martinez was gonna win it, and you know it kind of went the way I thought. You know, but yeah, you know it was all right. It was an okay fight.
Yeah, hey, trust me, we're not spending more than fucking 60 seconds on this fight. Crossover. What were your thoughts, bro?
So going in, I picked Melissa Martinez as well. She could have got a finish in this fight. I mean, that body kick that she hit Elise with.
I forgot about that.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was a finish from that. That's why I was like,
yeah,
can't finish her.
Yeah, it was a clean body kick. Yeah, she definitely got robbed of a finish for sure. Yep.
See, hey, I know your boy's faded over here, but I know my memory's still on par. Shit. But no, crossover. Great point though, bro. That body kick was nasty, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my bad, man. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I didn't know if you were done.
No, it's all good, but I mean that was pretty much it for me in that fight. Like Alice was literally like a zombie, just walking forward, just trying to get through it, and Martinez was moving. The footwork was nice, and the striking was definitely superior. But like I said, she definitely should have got that finish, though.
Yeah. Another fight we're not going to spend more than 60 seconds on was this fight as well, boys. I'll be real honest with y'all. Anytime Jessica Penne fights, I usually go order wings or go outside and just take a smoke break or something. Fight went about the way I thought it would go. Shout out Elise. She's a dog. But who did y'all have? And I'll start off with McDane. What were your thoughts on the fight, bro?
So I thought Elise would get it. I mean, she does pack a little bit more power. I didn't back her though. Obviously, with being on the prediction show, one of the circumstances on it is you need to have 3 underdogs. And on this card, I ended up making 2 of the lady fights my underdog picks because I was just like, yeah, I've got who I think is going to win in the other one. So I needed dogs, bro. So I put them in. So I went with Penny in this one.
Bold man,
and she got battered. You know what I mean? She was just taking some damage. Like Elise was cracking her. You know what I mean? She had a lot more power than what she did out. But I think Penny was doing a lot better in that first round. But as it moved into the second and third, we've seen Elise Reed kind of open up and just find a groove in the second and third round, and she was just putting it on her.
Yeah, Jax.
Yeah, I was hoping I was going to see her gloves go down in this one because I mean that's her third in a row. Now, yes, mind you, she's lost 3 in a row before, and then she rattled off 2 in a row. So maybe that's what she's thinking. She needed to lose 3 in a row, and now things are going to turn around. But she didn't. She just looked like she didn't look like the same person that fought Ioane and Jacek for the belt. You know, So, and I don't think that person's coming back again.
Bro, the UFC needs women so bad. They can go on a 4-fight win streak and probably still stay. Crossover, what was your thoughts, bro?
So going in, I went with Elise Reed in this fight. I just looked at Jessica Panay's age. I mean, she's 41.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, that I just don't see it. I think, hitting that age and still trying to be at a high level, I just went with the younger fighter. And I just made it very simple going into that fight.
Yeah, bro. Really, like I said, boys, not a whole lot of time or effort we're gonna spend on this fight. It is what it is. We went how we thought it was gonna go. Shout out at least for getting the dub though, bro. I know y'all get I'm always hating on women's MMA, but fucking 2% of the time I'm wrong. Another fight that 2% of the time I was wrong at that actually wasn't too bad of a fight, boys, was Edwards versus whoever wants to cop that last name for me. I'm gonna go ahead and say Vidal. Oh, I was pretty close. McDane, go ahead and give me your picks, bro. What were your thoughts? Because I'll be real with y'all. This was a pretty good little fight.
Decent fight. So yeah, I went with Vidal again. Needed an underdog, so I picked Vidal on this one. But I could actually prove that. Said to Leroy in a message after I sent my pick through, going Edwards is taking it, but I'm backing Vidal as the underdog. And then that was before we even seen them step on the scales. And again, I put on Twitter that anytime Edwards has missed weight, she has always won that fight. And she missed weight by what, 3-4 pounds, something like that. And she went in. And there was times on the ground where she was just bullying her. And you could just see the weight difference was a problem. Even in the clinch, the weight difference was a problem. But Vidal has always got that, could move in and crack you. She did catch her a couple of times, but yeah. And then she got the finish with a submission too. So it went pretty much how I expected it to go. I didn't expect the submission. I did expect it to go to a decision for Edwards, though.
Yeah, I didn't expect the submission at all, bro. Especially with how crisp her kickboxing is. I thought it'd either be a finish or a decision. Jax, what was your thoughts, bro? And who'd you pick?
I mean, I had Edwards. I like watching Edwards fight, even though it's the same thing with a lot of other female fighters that they have the ability to finish, but they don't turn that killer instinct on or when they need to. And I feel like she could finish a lot of girls, but I also feel like she's a 145er. Like she misses way too much.
Yeah.
And she's a big girl, and if you saw her during the fight, like she had a 6-pack and everything, like she's in really, really good shape. I don't know how much more weight she can lose. I really think she's a 145er struggling to get to the only
I think
weight
she fought at 45. I'm pretty sure that's where she used to fight.
Pretty sure she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. But I mean, as far as the fight, it kind of went how I thought it was going to go. She's going to bully that girl, and if she can find a way to make weight, then she can do some things in the division. But if she keeps on missing weight, it's going to be a big problem.
And like I said, dude, like she puts on good fights. Like, yeah. I'm not saying every single fight's a fucking slugfest, bro, but 9 times out of 10, bro, you're not going to be bored watching her fights. Crossover, what was your thoughts, bro, and who'd you pick?
Going in, I went with Edwards. I picked her by decision. One thing I did like, though, like this wasn't a bad fight at all. Both ladies were trying to stand and bang and get after it, and I was like, okay, like it amped me up a little bit, like watching it. But it was, like I said, it was definitely some fun. But Jocelyn Edwards, for whatever reason, she just got to figure out how she can get her weight under control.
Yeah, bro. I think we're pretty much all in agreement with that. But like I said,
most of her weight is in her legs, man. You've seen those things; they are thick, bro.
Like, yeah, bro. Thick. You know I've seen that. You know I've seen that.
I was about to say, McDane, did you just admit to us you were staring at her ass the whole fight? This man was like, but her legs, nah, brother. But what was above the legs? That's what I was like noticing. I was like, that's 75 pounds right there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And she always goes with those tights, and they always roll up on her every fight, dude. Every fight.
It don't matter what size it is, they can roll up.
Shout out Mackenzie Dern. Shout out Mackenzie Dern. But boys, we got into some real scraps after this. After this, boys, this is where it was time to sit down, roll you one, drink you something cold, because now the night's off to a bang. I want to get Crossover's thoughts on this, bro. Who did you have winning this fight, and what was your thoughts of Brad Katona not getting the dub?
So going in, I went with Matsumoto in this fight, and I picked him by decision. I know
Damn.
Katona's a tough guy. Like, it's going to be hard to try and get him out of there. I just was expecting Matsumoto to be a bit more active and could do a little bit more damage, because Katona, for me, is more of like a lay and pray guy when he tries to use his grappling and his wrestling. So that was my thought process going in, and it definitely was a very competitive fight.
Bro, and honestly, I don't know what's next for Katona after that. I could be wrong here, but is he on a 2 or 3 fight losing streak right now?
Don't think so. Maybe 2.
Because he's not really that active either. Like, if you could tell me his last
Let's
fight,
see.
when it even was, I'm pretty sure it was early this year, or maybe not even this year.
He fought Jesse Butler in June and he won, but he lost to Garrett Armfield
That's
in
what I'm
January.
thinking. I'm thinking
Yeah.
Armfield in January. Damn, I didn't know he fought in June.
Yeah, nobody did.
I was about to say, boys, I'll be real honest with y'all. Your boy's hardcore almost, and I didn't know that happened. But Jax, give me your thoughts on this, bro, and who you had winning the fight.
Man, you know, it's interesting. CJ, she was asking me about this fight before it came on, and she was like, "Hey, will this fight better start?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give me something to drink." Because I mean, when it comes to not, and it's not because of Matsumoto, it's because of Brad Katona. Like, I feel like he's a dude that it's almost like being on the practice squad and you got pulled up, you got brought up twice. It's like, I mean, I guess if that's impressive to you, but like, I never really thought he was that great of a fighter. But this fight was really good though, and he really pushed Matsumoto. So props to him for that. But I think that Matsumoto is going to be special in the division at some point.
McDane?
Yeah, pretty much the same as the boys. I picked Matsumoto going into this one. I thought the younger fighter was probably going to be a little bit more hungrier, but man, Brad Katona brought it and like stuck it to him as well. Though, yeah, I mean, he wasn't going down without a fight. He wasn't taking this one easily at all. But overall, I still think Matsumoto took it. Just from watching the fight, like he was landing that right hand a lot more. He was doing a lot more damage. You could see it on Katona's face. So I think where he really struggled was probably in the clinch and in the grappling was where you saw Katona's experience coming through just that little bit more. But overall, great fight.
Great fight, brother. And honestly, if he had maybe McGregor there, who knows? Maybe he gets that extra bump and he pushes through, boys. But after that, we had another scrap as well, boys, who I did not see winning this fight at all. I'll be real honest with y'all. I thought my boy Mathis was going to win this. McDane, give me your thoughts on this, bro, and who you had going into it.
So on this one, I had Almabayev again. Just I mean, like the streak that this dude's been on, and obviously he's seems to be on the up and up. It seems like he's going to be a contender moving forward. And Nicolau just didn't seem to turn up. Almabayev just took him down, played the game that he always plays, and got the victory. Like Nicolau was doing well at like scrambling and trying to go for submissions whilst he was off his back, but other than that, he wasn't really doing much more. Like, so yeah, this fight went exactly how I thought it was going to go as well.
Yeah, Jax.
I was expecting a little bit more from Mateus Nicolau.
Same.
I thought that he was better than this. It seems like when he loses to, you know, a higher caliber of opponent. But that being said, Almabayev actually might be a higher caliber of opponent. So I was impressed by Almabayev and what he did. And Nicolau's now on 3-fight losing streak. I mean, obviously he's not gonna get cut, but I mean, he's in dangerous waters as far as like where his career is headed.
Mm-hmm. Nah, bro. Hey, who knows? He could been cut. It ain't Tuesday yet, but we might not see my man back. This in the UFC. Crossover. Give me your thoughts, bro, on who you had going in.
So going in, I went with Almabayev as well. I just thought the wrestling would be too much. I think 2024, man, it's just been the year of like the guys that push the pace, wrestle, rinse and repeat over and over again. So that was my thinking going in. Like, I like Nicolau striking, but I just felt like Almabayev was just going to make it a dirty fight.
Bro, y'all want to talk about dirty fights? This next fight after this, bro, This was the most Darren Elkins fight I've ever seen in my life, bro. This was straight up street fight, just nasty. Both dudes definitely got stitches. I kind of want to get McDane's thoughts on Daniel putting his gloves down. And you really think that's it for him, man? Going out like that against Darren Elkins on a 3-fight losing streak against the Apex and a fight of the night, bro. What were your thoughts on it?
So I backed Pineda in this one. I thought his activity was probably just going to see him through it just that little bit more. But man, like you say, what a war! Yeah, I mean, and if he wants to put his gloves down there, then hats off to him, because that was an absolute battle to go out on. Like, why not? Yeah, I mean, so if he's done, then he's done. I don't know if we might see him return, but I doubt it, to be honest with you. But yeah, absolute scrap. And like you mentioned a second ago, it was like the most Elkin fight that you've seen. Except for me, he wasn't covered in his own blood for once. You know what I mean? Yeah. That was somebody else's blood. That was the only difference in that fight. But dude, these guys went to war, absolute war. Like on the ground, Elkins was the scrambles, the reversals, the submission attempts. It was just constant. The pace that these guys put on, it was just an incredible fight.
And then before I go to Jax McDane, I'm gonna come back to you in a minute and just kind of see who you think Darren Elkins should even fight next. But Jax, what was your thoughts on the fight, bro?
Man, like this was the beginning of a 3-fight run on this card. Like all 3 of these fights were really good,
bro.
But like I could if Pineda was gonna go out and retire, like this is the type of fight that I'm sure that he wanted to retire on. I mean, it was bloody, it was nasty, the scrambles were crazy. Both of them had a chance to win the fight at multiple times. It was gritty, like it was perfect for both of them. And I mean, just looking at like how many fights these individuals have on their record, it's crazy how many fights they have and how much experience. So it was an amazing fight to me.
Crossover?
I couldn't agree more. Like I went with Pineda going in. I thought the submission game, I thought he would catch Elkins at some point, and he was very close to doing it multiple times. There literally was blood all over the octagon. Like these two really just left it all in there. And I mean, Pineda, that's a perfect way to go out, bro. He literally put all he had in the octagon. Darren Elkins, every Darren Elkins fight is an absolute war. So we already knew what time it was going in, but this fight was phenomenal.
Bro, you don't fight the damage and come out of that clean, bro. And same thing with Daniel too. So that's why when I saw this fight was the first fight on the main card, this is guaranteed violence. And then correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure every win Daniel has is a finish. So it was literally, I was like, we're going to see a knockout. We're going to see 2 dudes stand and bang right here. Bro, it was just a straight up MMA fight. Like y'all were saying, the sprawls, the grappling, just the heart that they showed in that whole fight was insane. And also, Crossover, I want to see what you think you have next for Darren Elkins. But before I do that, McDane, who would you want to see next for the damage?
Bro, I honestly don't know. Like, I really don't know.
I'm at too. That's where I'm at too.
He's not going for the top 15. Yeah, I mean, he's on a 2-fight winning streak now of like TJ Brown, Daniel Pineda. But like, who are you really going to put him in there against at this point? Is it just gonna be banger fights just to see the action and put it onto a card? Yeah, I mean, because it isn't going to be any kind of real run or anything like that. So I don't know, man. I really don't know.
I was thinking the same thing.
Charles Jourdain.
Shut the fuck up. I mean, I like the fight. It's not a bad fight, but I mean, goddamn, dog. Maybe somebody. How about like Bryce Mitchell?
I did think Bryce Mitchell a second ago as well. What about Kyle the Monster Nelson? Yeah, I mean the Monster versus the Damage. That'd be a bad one.
That's a great fight. Crossover. You got any ideas, bro?
Got a couple. So the number one for me would be Nate the Train. I think that fight would be phenomenal.
I think they fought already though, huh? I think they fought during COVID.
They might have. It may have. If not, yeah. And I'm assuming it was a really good fight. And another option I had was Julian Erosa. I think that would be a good fight too.
Oh my God, him versus Juicy J, bro. Sign me up, because Juicy J is always down to get down as well, bro.
Exactly.
And I think he's one of those guys that he'll win 1, lose 2, win 1, lose 1. That's a fun ass fight, bro. Jax, you got any ideas for the Damage next?
Juicy J. That's the one that I was
I
thinking
like
too.
Juicy J a lot, bro.
That's the one. That would be such an amazing fight.
That's a crossover. Shout out fucking Sean Shelby down there in the bottom right for me, baby. That's a bro. That's a great fight. I thought Nate Landwehr is a great fight. They should run that back, but with a crowd, because they did it in the Apex during COVID. Give them two boys a crowd and let them just scrap, son. Or Juicy J. I think those are the only two options.
I
got another one too.
On a 2-fight win streak as well at the moment. You know what I mean? So
makes sense. Who's your other one?
Makes sense.
Cub Swanson.
Yeah.
Oh, but Cub's fighting Billy Quarantello in December, I think.
True.
Yeah.
Hey, the winner of that fight, though, even Billy.
Yeah.
I take Billy Q versus the Damage.
Bro, the battle of the 40-year-olds, dog.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Boy.
Jax, you jumping in, bro, or what?
Nope.
You ain't making featherweight, no?
Nope. Not at this point.
But boys, hey, Darren, you're welcome. Those are your next three fights. Juicy J, the winner of Billy Q versus Cub, and Nate Landwehr. Those are your next three fights. Have your manager look this clip up, baby. Shout out the Damage. Also, like Jax was saying, that started off a row of scraps, boys. That got the motherfucking vibes going. Because then we got to White Kong, Jack Hadley versus Cameron Smotherman. Ooh, I'm going to fuck this up.
Smotherman and Jake Hadley.
And Jake Hadley. A little too faded today, folks, like we said. I'm trying to find an excuse. That's what I'm blaming it on. What were your thoughts on this crossover? And then also, boys, how funny was it when he got poked in the eye, the amount of shit the fans were giving Chris Tyone?
Yeah, so going into this fight, I went with Jake Hadley. I thought the 3 days notice for Smotherman was going to be kind of crazy. And I've actually seen him fight in Fury FC. Definitely
for real?
A good young fighter. Yeah, for sure. But man, like you could tell, like he definitely wanted to be in the UFC, and he fought like, hey, like I want to be here. This is where I've been trying to get to. And you just could tell he was more active. He was coming forward. All the body shots early in the fight were very nice, very nice. And I just think he just was more active and just put more volume out there than Hadley.
Bro, and then also fighting Hadley when he just moved up to 135. So my man's been fighting at flyweight. They do that test on him at the PI. They go, you got to step up 10 pounds. So now you got to come in on 3 days notice. Bro, I thought it was on a week notice. I didn't know it's 3 days. On a 3-day notice, fly to Vegas from Houston, go up there, fight this absolute killer, bro. Bro, Hadley's a dog. Hadley's always in scraps too, bro. So like you said, to have to come down there on a 3-day notice and even take this fight to decision with all the stops, all the eye poking, the nut shots, everything that was going on. Jax, give me your thoughts on that, bro, and just who you had winning.
Going into it, I mean, I'm a fan of Smotherman, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that he works with Adrian Yanez, and I like that whole crew. And what was interesting is like he moves like Adrian, so you could tell they spar a lot. So he had kind of some similar swag to him. He doesn't have the power that Adrian has, but he's got the way that he goes to the body, like you mentioned, is very, very similar. And it looked like he was the one that was the person that was scheduled, and Hadley was the one that was filling in on short notice. The way that he had him running during that fight, not running as in running, not Chelsea Chandler, but like running as in he was on the back foot, So Smotherman has a future. I want to see more finishes from him, more of a killer instinct. But it was his first fight in the UFC after coming off of the Contender Series and not doing what he thought he should do. But I mean, he's got some fights ahead of him that are gonna get him prepared to actually do some things in the division,
especially at 135, bro. Yeah. There's tons of fights, tons of dudes that aren't even in the top 15 that are absolute murderers.
Absolutely.
McDane, give me your thoughts, bro, and who'd you have going in?
Yeah, just to follow on from what Jax was saying, like Hadley, like I mean, hats off to Smotherman going in there and getting it done, being like a young fighter, getting his debut, and there's not many people that actually go and win their debut in the UFC. Like there's a stat on that, like it is minimal amount of people that do. So I'm not taking anything away from him, but Hadley just didn't seem to turn up. And like, we're looking at a dude that just stepped in and short notice at 304 and moved up a weight class and came away with a win on that one. So where was that guy on Saturday night is what was going through my mind. Like, I don't think it was until round 3 he started trying to implement some grappling. Like, he was like Jack said again there, and like Crossover said, like, he was on the back foot, he was taking body shots. He didn't seem to know what to do with Smotherman at all. And I was expecting a lot more ground game coming away from him. I was expecting his experience to take over the fight a little bit more, and we just didn't see it. And I know on the outside, his missus was literally hours or a day away from giving birth or whatever, so maybe there's a lot going on in his mind. I'm not going to Scooby-Doo, but man, like, he just didn't turn up.
Bro, that's a really good point, too. You got to think about the amount of stress that he has going on over there. Flew all the way over here from London. They tell you, man, you're not going to have a fight. The next day, on Tuesday, you find out you're going to fight this young kid on Dana White Contender Series. Like, I mean, bro. And then, like you said, bro, usually his leg kicks are even nastier, too. I didn't see really any leg kicks from him. He didn't mix up the kickboxing like he normally does. So that's just shout out to fucking Cameron. But another fight, boys, that we had that really led up until really the co-main kind of slept on us. But before we got to that sleepy co-main, we had another dog fight. Shout out the Skullet gang everywhere. We're energy till we die over here, folks. Crossover, I want to get your thoughts on this, bro, and who you had going into this. But can we get a motherfucking, a top 15 for the boy over here, man, or a top 5?
So going into this, I went with Charles Johnson. I thought he had a lot of momentum going in, coming off the Joshua Van finish, and I just thought going forward, like, he definitely is going to use that as a springboard. Then going into the Sumu Darji fight, I know Sumu Darji's been in some wars lately. Especially with the I think it was the what's the one guy that just retired that had like the awesome comeback against Sumu Darji? I think it was Matt Snell.
Oh yeah.
Phenomenal fight. So I knew Sumu Darji was gonna be game. I know he's definitely dangerous on the feet with that straight left he has, but I believe in Charles Johnson going in, and he definitely delivered. Sumu Darji won the 3rd round. But it was definitely a really good fight, though.
Yeah, bro, I'm 100% with you there too. Jax, what was your thoughts, bro?
Very similar. I was leaning towards Charles Johnson. I thought that he would dominate this fight. And not to say that Sumo Darji is not a good fighter. I think he's really good, but I thought that Charles had moved to another level. But I think Sumo Darji moved to another level as well, and that's what made this fight competitive. But Charles did enough in those first 2 rounds to walk out of there with a win. Charles already is calling out, trying to go to his next fight. So Saeed Nurmagomedov's opponent fell out, and so he's trying to jump in there to go down there and catch that fight at bantamweight. So I mean, dude, he's on one right now. He's trying to capitalize, and I can appreciate that. But he definitely needs to fight somebody in the top 15 next. He deserves that.
Yeah, bro. Right, he's riding that motherfucking hot hand right now, and he's down to get down and make that money, bro. Especially just having a kid too. That'd be hilarious if he stepped up and took that fight at 135 and won. By the way,
he won. But I mean, yeah, if he gets in there, yeah, Saeed is gonna do him dirty.
Hey, dog. You never know with the energy. McDane, give me your thoughts, bro.
First off, I want to give a shout out to those purple shorts, man, because that shit is fire. By the way,
that shit was gas. The purple shorts are gas.
Bro, like, obviously, Joaquin Buckley was wearing them the other week, and then he's rocked out in them on Saturday night. Man, those things are fucking legit. Like, I was like, I might even just buy them, just a shadow box in the fucking bedroom. You know what I mean? I was like, they're sick, man. But bro, I had energy going into this one. Pretty much what Crossover was saying, the momentum that was behind him, obviously coming off that Joshua Van finish. Like, I just thought he was going to go in there, and I actually thought he might have got the finish too. That second round, boys. That second round, woohoo! Yeah. Like, I thought it was done, dude. I thought it was. Yeah, I was sitting watching that, going, "How's he not stopped this? Like, how is he still being able to throw some punches just now? Like, that should be done." And then next minute, boom. big up kick came in, you know what I mean? And then he dropped him into that triangle. I was like, oh shit. And then like he done really well to reverse it though. Got around, ended up trying to go for the armbar, but slipped out the back, went for the single and moved his way around. I was like, bro, like absolute energy. Yeah, I mean, it was unreal. But yeah, like great fight all around. A lot better than what I thought it was going to be. I literally just thought energy was going to run away with it.
Bro, you fucking nailed that. I literally can't say anything else on that. I literally would just be repeating what you said. I think the exact same thing on that, bro. And honestly, that was the last real fight of the night we really got to see. Because the next two fights we got to watch, bro, I mean, I don't know which fight you're talking. I mean, shout out Fluffy, but it was an ass whooping. It wasn't much of a fight. But I'm talking about a competitive who fucking won this. Because these next two fights, pretty much domination. I want to get to crossover. I kind of see him smiling over there and see what his thoughts were going into Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips. Very happy my man got the dub, but I'm not happy at all with his performance. Give me your thoughts on it, bro, and just who you had going in. You're muted, bro.
I'm always doing that. But going in, I went with Kyler Phillips. I thought he would get it by decision. I thought he would mix up the striking and the wrestling, and it would be enough to get the decision. I mean, he came out in the first round and he did exactly that, mix it up, got the takedown, control Rob Font on the ground. And I think what ended up happening is like all of that grappling like took a lot out of him. And in the second round, it just looked like he was trying to like get some gas back. And he tried to grapple some more, but Rob Font like got right back up and then was right back in his face with that jab and the strikes. And it pretty much just set the tone. And then when the third round came around and it was like, all right, Kyler, you're going to try and get back to the wrestling. It kind of was like he didn't really have anything left. He was just on the back foot and circling around the octagon.
Yeah, bro. I'm right there with you on that, bro. Jax, what was your thoughts?
So I was going with Rob Font heading into this. I thought that he would beat that young lady, but I mean, he's not as good as I thought he was. He's not. He shit the bed, man.
You talking about Rob or Kyler?
Kyler. I mean, Rob did what he had to do. You know, he's a vet. And he was like, I'm gonna do just enough to win this fight, and that's what he did. But Kyler he was a minus 500 favorite. Like he was supposed to walk away with this. This was his coronation into the top 10. And where was his striking at? Where was it at? I didn't see.
And you trained with Sean O'Malley and Tim, so it's like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with Kyler Phillips, and I mean, I don't know, man. It was very feminine.
Big Dave, what were your thoughts?
So, obviously, I mentioned earlier about the stipulation of the fight week show competition is that we need to have 3 dogs. And I went with Rob Font to begin with and then changed my damn mind to like, I thought, because I did think, is Rob Font going to veteran his ass here? And I mean, he's just going to come out and just work his way towards a decision and we're just going to see the experience come over it. And then I kind of looked back and I was thinking, Kyle Phillips striking as well as, I mean, coming off that Pedro Munez fight. Pedro Munez and Rob Font, very similar in styles and the way that they approach a fight. So I thought, you could probably get this one done. So I changed it up and I put Font in the back burner and went with Kyle Phillips. And then, like Jack said, the man shit the bed. Like, what happened? Like, he came out and he took him down. He looked strong in that position. And I thought, all right, here we go. You know what I mean? He's going to start doing what he's doing. He's going to hold him here. He's going to put the damage onto him. But soon as Rob Font got it back to the feet, he just looked like, I mean, like a lion in the ocean. What are you doing there, bro? Like, you should not be hanging about. Like, and then even in the clinch when they're up against the cage, Font just had the upper hand in that. Like, there was just nowhere that Kyle Phillips could beat him. And then back to what Crossover said, then trying to take him down again, man. The dude was gassed. He never had anything left in him to be able to get that fight and get the win in it.
Yeah, man. And at that point, you kind of have to get the dub, man. Font has fought all the top killers in the division. You don't want to lose to a guy like Kyler, bro. And then it just starts going down from there, bro. And building your way back up is going to be a motherfucker in that division, bro. We lost Jax. He's taking his kid to karate class. So shout out the boy Jax. His input on this main event was Fluffy bullied Pereira, which pretty much we're going to go ahead and get into right now. And basically, I'm pretty sure we're all going to have the same opinion on this. What a domination from Fluffy. Just wore out Michelle Pereira. One of the worst cornering I've ever seen in my life. Just fucking rubbing a guy's arm and telling him to breathe over and over again. I mean, fucking A. He knows that by now. I mean, maybe the translator wasn't telling us really what they were saying, but every time they go to Pereira's corner, man, they're just rubbing his arm, ice on the chest, breathe, breathe, breathe. They told him to take the fourth or third round off, and he just got his ass whooped for got 10-8. And they're like, take this round off, recover. Like, worst cornering I've ever seen. But shout out Fluffy, man. He put it on Pereira. Crossover, I want to get your thoughts, bro. And who did you have going into this main event?
So going into it, I went with Fluffy. But one thing I will say in that first round, like Pereira landed a nasty body kick, and it definitely hurt Hernandez. And Pereira went after him. And it looked like he was trying to get a finish in the first round. But I think that happening was probably the worst thing for Pereira because, I mean, he already has a suspect gas tank. So then him just unloading all those shots in the first round with like a cardio freak, like middleweight Marab and Fluffy.
Yeah.
And at that point, like towards the end of that round, Fluffy got a takedown, and then you just could see it unraveling and where it was going after that. And then the rest of the fight just was rinse and repeat. Like, all right, I'm gonna be on top of you. I'm not gonna let you breathe. I'm gonna take you down. I'm gonna shoot. If you defend that, I'm gonna reshoot, and I'm just gonna be all over you and just smother you. And I'm not gonna lie, I like watching stuff like that, man. I like watching guys that are just on somebody and just mauling them. I like seeing stuff like that.
Bro, you gotta respect domination. I love watching the Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, Izzy versus Kevin Gastelum, Poirier versus Hooker. I love those type of fights, bro. But I also love Habib versus Michael Johnson, Fluffy versus Pereira, where you see a dude get broken and he has to decide, like Glover versus Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith gets his fucking teeth knocked out mid-fight, hands it to the ref, and that's in the third round. And Glover's just beating the shit out of him. And like you said, that's crazy too, because in the first round, if you forget, first round's a dogfight. First round's a toss-up. And then, man, bro, you just see Fluffy turn up, bro. Yep. McDane, what was your thoughts, bro?
So I mentioned a second ago I changed from Font to Kyle Phillips, and I changed from Font to Kyle Phillips, and then take Pereira as my third dog.
God dang, bro!
So
were you guessing? What the fuck?
No, it wasn't guessing. Right. So again, momentum. The way he's came out and that he's like taking the fights recently, and that first round being such a toss up, and him hurting him and going for the kill the way that he did. I went for the dog. But I knew the only round that he had a chance in was the first, potentially the second. And I knew, and once those rounds were done, because you knew Fluffy, you know what I mean? So it was just a throw it in there and just try and see if it lands, you know what I mean? Like, and unfortunately it didn't, so I never got the points, but oh well, I'm still in top spot on the table, so get it up the boys. But mate, Fluffy, like you say, man, just bullied him, bro. That man gave up. Didn't know what to do. You could see it in his face whenever you seen him down on the ground when he was taking the double and he was literally just lifting him up and dropping him down. Like the look on Pereira's face, he was just like, bro. you can see he was just like, oh, again. Yeah, I mean, and then he just got absolutely battered. So yeah, the hats off to Fluffy for an amazing performance.
And Fluffy's landing hard shots, bro. He's not one of those lay and pray, 2 to the body, 1 to the head, just hold you and just transition. Bro, Fluffy was hit this man with some fucking bombs, bro, on the bottom.
The elbows too. Elbows that came in were unbelievable, man.
Bro, it was a straight up ass whooping. It was honestly, I kind of want to hear what y'all have next for Fluffy. Because as I say it to y'all, I'm trying to think of what I see next for him in the 185 division. He's kind of getting slept on, man. He's kind of that dark horse. He's really starting to kind of rise now. And he didn't finish Pereira, but goddamn, man. Not much else you can, that dude just pushed through and just survived. But I'm gonna go to you, Crossover. Give me a couple names, bro, since you're fucking our Sean Shelby over here, baby. Give us a couple names that you want to see it next for Fluffy.
I think a good matchup for him would probably be either Jared Cannonier or Brendan Allen.
Damn. I fucking love both of those options. McDane, is there anybody else you could think of? Because honestly, Brendan Allen is really in my mind right now.
Paulo Costa would be an absolute banger to put him in there against.
Holy
you know what I mean?
shit. You think he goes up against Costa right now?
If you look at it, man, Costa's sitting ninth. Like, obviously, Jared Cannonier's sitting seventh. Brendan Allen's eighth. Yeah, I mean, so, eighth. And then you've got Roman Dolidze and Paulo Costa sitting in ninth. Like, bro, so he's going to move to 14th now? I think even the smart thing to do is let's stick him in against a Jack Hermansson and see where he goes from there. You know what I mean? Get him towards that top 10 before we start putting him up against the likes of Brendan Allen, etc.
And that's what they've been doing with Jack, because he got the Joe Pfeiffers, he's gotten the Kevin Hollands, he's gotten Sean Strickland, all guys that they've been like, let's see what you're about. And then after they've beaten Jack, you've seen where they've had to go on next.
He's like the CJ Vergara of prospects in the middleweight division. You know what I mean? Just stick him against him and see where they can go from there.
Except Jack gets down, bro.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah, bro. If you come in and you finish that motherfucker, you're a bad motherfucker, bro. Because Jack's seen it all. He's been in the UFC since they had fucking sponsorships on your shorts. So it's hard, bro. I need y'all boys to run this for me for the next 6 seconds, or we can go ahead and wrap it up because my laptop is about to die.
Wrap it up then, brother. That's the card. You know what I mean? We've smashed that out there. It's been an hour and 10 minutes.
That's it, boys. Honestly, we've took up way too much of your time, folks, today. I was going to keep it 45 minutes. We went a little over today. Let me go ahead and get these boys out of here with an outro, and we appreciate the fuck out of y'all. McDane, tell the folks where to find you, bro.
McDane MMA on Twitter, The Rambling Dads on Instagram and on YouTube. Make sure you're dropping a follow. I've got an interview coming up tomorrow with a UK amateur. He's only had one fight. He's fighting out of IPC Wrexham. Fights with Aaron Abe, who's going up against who is it? Dude that got cut from the UFC with the bowl cut, like the Asian Paddy the Baddie, Zumagulov.
Yes.
Currently fights for Octagon, so that's the next flyweight fight that they're going to be having. So he trains out of his gym. So jumping on, speaking with him tomorrow, and I've also got a few other things in the pipeline. So make sure you're following, subscribing, liking, all that good shit.
All the good shit, folks. This is the man right here, Rambling Dad. By the way, if y'all didn't get that, Rambling Dad on every fucking platform. This is my brother right here. My man also down below me, my man Crossover MMA. Tell these folks where to find you, my fellow Houstonian.
So you got me, Crossover MMA on YouTube, Crossover MMA 23 on Instagram, Twitter, and also Crossover MMA on TikTok. Got my UFC 308 video coming out here pretty soon. Just pumping out the content, and come on over and check me out.
I'm telling y'all, folks, this man right here is working right now. This man will do a 2-hour live just solo by himself. My man's on the grind right now. His edits are so entertaining. Dope ass shorts. Both these gentlemen, if you're not already following, you're fucking not even an MMA fan. Also, shout out Jax making the walk. My man had Kevin Ioli and Josh Emmett on. Huge shout out to the boys. As always, I appreciate y'all more than y'all know for coming on. Thank you, folks, for watching. Like and subscribe to the show. We're out of here. Y'all have a great fucking day, baby.
Peace.
Appreciate the boys.